Hey everyone, it's Sharon from the Cozy Junk Studio, and here we are with our Dollar Tree meets IOD and Junk added in part 2. Now listen to you all in the last video, and I'm not going to add any music that's going to be distracting to the background, and we're going to get started. I got this cute little bunny statue that's holding a little planter, and I really just wanted to give it a neutral look. I liked the sort of vintage look that it had, but we painted that with the Waverly paint, chalk paint in plaster, and now I'm just dry brushing some of this very pale gray that is DIY paint. We're going to go ahead and come into with some of the sandy blonde. I've been loving using both of these for dry brushing and painting projects in general. Now this planter is going to turn into a little nest for some eggs, and it's going to turn out so cute. All right, so just so you guys know, and I do tell this in all my videos, I do speed them up and cut out parts that are repetitive. If you have any questions about something that I've done that you did not see in the video, comment below. Also, if the video is too fast, you can go in the bottom right-hand corner of your YouTube video and change the settings to slow it down. All right, now on with the video. So now that we've got our bunny done, which I'm pretty sure I went ahead and went over this with a clear coat of the DIY liquid patina. I'm going to add some of this, I don't know what this is called, okay? It's straw. Y'all tell me in the comments below. I'm just kind of cutting it and putting it down in there, and I'm going to add these little eggs that came off of the bunny stand coming up in this video. Now, I did not glue any of this in because I thought if whomever purchased this would like to add a planter in there, they could just take the stuff out and it not be glued. And this little bunny planter is done. Now, we're going to add some of this twine that I told you in the last video, part 1, that I got during the 4th. And I was in Dollar Tree today, and they have these colors, the tan and white, the red and white, and the blue and white that are muted. They have them out with the beachy themed stuff. I saw that in there today. So what y'all think of that project? Comment below and let me know. Okay, so our next project is this little vintage bunny on a stand, which is kind of funny because it's the 80s version of the new bunnies that are out on stands now. And it's holding a little egg, but we're going to change this thing totally up. And the way that I'm going to do it is take these eggs off the bottom. You just saw that I used them in that last project. I'm taking my heat gun because this is hot glue that is holding those eggs and that moss on there. So I'm just going to take my little scraper once I get it all heated up and just scrape that right off, and it comes off almost perfectly. I'm going to give this a good coat of our Waverly plaster chalk paint, and I did the eggs as well while I'm doing this, and you can see some of the steps for the eggs. I just gave them an initial plaster coat and then went on to put different colors of chalk paint and little splatters. Okay, so I'm going to walk through some of the steps of the eggs. What I did was initially I just painted these that plaster color, and I did some splatters, and I just didn't like that they were all the same color. So I got out a few colors of my acrylic paints, not chalk paints, and these are FOLKART, which is very pigmented and very thick, but I did not shake them up, as you can see, so that's why I'm having a trouble here. But I ended up using 2 or 3 colors, and then I used some watered down Waverly antiquing wax to do my splatters for these little eggs. All right, so back to the bunny on the stand. What we're going to do is we're going to decoupage some of these papers onto this, or paper. We're going to use this Harlequin pattern, and this is from the Roycycled decoupage paper line. Now, I get mine wherever they are the cheapest. I think I got this from Aunt Bee's Attic. Hers are $5. And lots of people sell them, but to be honest, if someone is cheaper, that's where I shop. I thrift shop even online, not just at the junk stores. So we're going to use some liquid patina to put this on. I'm just cutting around the bunny, and I'm going to put a coat of liquid patina underneath and a coat of liquid patina on top. So I'm going to let this dry, and now that this is dry, I am taking my little zip sander and going all around the edges to get that excess paper off. This is the perfect way to do it. It gives a distressed look, so if you don't like the distressed look, then you may need to use an X-Acto knife or something to get it trimmed off. Once I have it off the edges, I'm going to go back in and sand on the face of the bunny because there were some initial cut lines into the wood that I want to bring back through that outline this little bunny. We're going to run this little zip liner or this zip sander all over the bunny and the post and the bottom to distress the complete thing further. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it being distressed, bringing those lines back through. Now, you know me, I love me some white wax, and we're going to white wax this bunny, and then we're going to do some dry brushing of the same sandy blonde and gravel road on this piece as well. So our next piece is a similar one that we did in the first video, and if you haven't seen that, I'll have that linked in the cards at the end of this video. We're going to use one of these printables and one of these faux cork frames. We're going to add some plaster in the Waverly chalk paint to this. We're going to brush on some of that gravel road and sandy blonde paint like we did all the other pieces, and do a little distressing, and this piece will be done. Now, I do go ahead and put the artwork in the frame, and then I distress the frame, and then I add the paint to it. I decided it needed a little something different other than just the distressed plaster, so I went ahead and stayed with that same sandy blonde and gravel road dry brushing on here, and I did use my finger and kind of smear it. I don't know, I just felt like it just needed not necessarily just the dry brushing, but a little bit of finger smearing apparently. Now, don't forget, all of the photos will be at the end of the video. This next project is this cute little bunny rabbit that I got from a thrift store. It was the 80s blue, like country blue, and I grabbed it and painted over it with the weathered wood, and now I'm going to put a transfer on this from the IOD fronds line, maybe? I don't know. It's the one with all of the different types of plants. So I found one I liked, and we're going to pop that on there with the transfer stick that came with this. Now, I'm cutting down this because it was quite large, and I really just wanted it to be at the bottom. I'm playing around with another piece, and then I decide against that and use this one. So I am using a bone folder. Apparently, I did not have my transfer stick out, which is not shocking because I lose those as soon as I open these things. I have no idea where they go, but I'm using this little bone folder, and I'm doing my little burnishing over it to make sure it gets down really, really good. And then we're going to do some white waxing. I love how the white waxing takes this weathered wood DIY paint to another level. As I white wax, I just rub off what I don't want or rub back what I don't want on there. And this is sticking pretty good because I did not put a clear coat of wax on beforehand, and I did not use a clear coat of liquid patina. It went straight to the clay paint and stuck, which is fine. I love how it looks, and I wanted it to have more of that weathered wood look. And I'm taking the brush and kind of going around all the edges to outline this little bunny with that wax, and I really love how that looked. It was just, I don't know, I saw it on the edges and I thought, ooh, I'm going to do all the edges that way. We're going to take some of that same twine and just pop that around its little neck and give it a little bow. And this little bunny is done. So what do you think of this bunny? I love that it's a chunky little bunny and it's a little wood piece. This next project is going to be a marriage from the junk store. I have a set of brand new nests that came in a pack of 2 that I got at one of the Goodwills. I've been looking for nests and they just appeared. And both of them had 3 pink eggs in them. I'm going to pop those eggs out, repaint them into the Cozy Junk Studio style, and we're going to put these 2 pieces together. We're going to give this glass base, which I'm assuming was a candle holder at one point, a good coat of these Waverly plaster chalk paint, and then we're going to glue our 2 pieces together. We're going to use TITE Bond Quick and Thick as a permanent hold, and then we're going to use some hot glue as a temporary hold. We're going to paint these eggs a solid color first of the plaster paint. Then we're going to go in with a couple different colors again to give them more of a natural look with some splatters to go back into our little nest. Unfortunately, I lost the video of me putting them back in the nest on the base, but you will get to see the photo of the finished product in the end of the video. Now, this is that piece of salvage. Again, a second piece. I did talk about this in the first video, but I took some candlesticks, cut them up, painted them weatherwood, and then stenciled just some numbers on them to make them look like little pieces of salvage that I can just lay in vignettes and for photo props. I'm adding some white wax to this one and just going to rub that back, cover it with some liquid patina, and I did put a half bead on the end of these, which you will see in the video or in the photos. This next piece is a Dollar Tree little house sign that I have added some IOD molds to. I did use the DAS clay for these molds. Now I am showing you here which IOD molds I used for each one. This is the key mold. It may be called something else, but it has the keys and the keyholes. And I'm pretty sure this is the laurel mold. I used the crown from it. Now, I didn't show you how to do the molds because we have done that in previous videos, and you can just check back in some of my videos for that. Now, I'm adding a coat of the plaster paint on here, and I have mixed this with some baking soda, but not a lot, just to give it a little bit of texture, since it is going to be going on this that has the pattern as well as the molds on this. Now you can see that we have this painted all up and we are ready to do some cool techniques to this. The first thing we're going to do is add some script to this with this IOD stamp called Kindest Regards. We are going to be working around these molds to put some of this script. It is a little bit challenging, but it's really not that difficult. You just work around them, and if you get any smears, just go back over it with the paint. Right now we've not done anything. We've not done any antiquing, so we can just add that paint back on and cover up any smears that's going to happen. So this is in real time, and as you can see right now, I do have some ink on the laurel molds, which I'm covering up with that paint. I do have a couple smears, and I'm just going to cover that up. And I'm going to go back in where I had the smears that I covered up and stamp right back over that new paint. It's really that simple. I will tell you, I did use the stone gray again and the StazOn because, like I said, this ink dries almost instantly. It really worked better for this specific project. I use different types of inks. IOD ink is a great ink. It's also permanent. It's really great to use on fabrics and projects that you don't really need your ink to dry instantly. So I like to have different brands and different types of inks and paints in my arsenal as a creator. We're going to take that StazOn ink and we're going to go around the edges of this little piece just to give it a little definition. Now I'm going to add some dark wax to this to add to the layers that we've already created for this. I do go ahead and add the dark wax pretty heavily, and I plan on wiping quite a bit of that back. I'm using a baby wipe, but I just felt like it was too dark, so I went in with some of the white wax to kind of erase some of the dark wax. That is what I love about the waxes, especially the ones that aren't liquid. The liquid ones you can't do this with. If it is these creamy waxes by DIY, and there are other waxes out there, I do have some that I have linked below in my Amazon links that I use as well, that helps erase some of this if you need to. It's more of the buttery, or I don't know, I call them Vaseline type waxes, but those can help wipe this back. The liquid waxes by Waverly, you can't do that with, or at least I've not found that you can do that with. We are at the end of finishing this piece. What do y'all think of this one? Now, I didn't do much with it as far as adding a hanger or attaching it to something. I think this would be a great piece to be a shelf leaner or a shelf sitter. And to add to something like a large sign with lettering, I think this would be a great piece for that. Our next project is 2 of these foam eggs that I got from Dollar Tree. I have already given them, of course, a coat of the Waverly Plaster paint. I have made my molds up, and I'm going to show you those, I think, coming up. Now I'm attaching them with a quick and thick TITE bond glue. I'm going to let all this set up overnight before I go any further. We're adding a little rooster here from one of the IOD molds called Fleur de Lis. It has a rabbit and a chicken or rooster. It's just a fun mold. It's got a lot of uses, so I'm using that rooster to add to one side of my egg. Here I'm going to show you that this is one of the Redesigned by Prima Mold called Meadow Hair, and it has these little rabbits. It's so cute. And now I'm just showing you that I used those same keyhole molds at the Laurel mold. I'm sorry for the blurry right here. This does not last. It is something about the way that I did the video. I also am showing that I used the IOD Classic Elements molds for the trim around the whole egg. I am showing you how I have so much paint on these eggs. The texture is insane, and I had a lot of crackling, and wait till we antique these up. First, we're gonna go ahead and start with the DIY white wax. We're gonna go over the whole egg on both sides, get that good and thick in all the crevices, and then come back with our dark wax. We're gonna do the same thing with the dark wax. We're gonna get this down in those crevices, all those cracks, then start wiping it back to give that antique look to this egg and to show all that texture off. You all, I really love how these eggs turned out. There was a couple things I think I would have done differently. This is the first time I've ever done one of these eggs. I think I would have left the trim a little different on the bottom, so that I could sit these in a cup. I mean, I do sit them in these little gold rings you'll see when I take the picture or when I show the pictures at the end. Maybe something different with that trim on the sides. And I think if I'm going to do anything with them, I'm going to have to put them on a skewer or a stick, kind of like we did the rabbit in the other video, so that they will stand up kind of on their own. I'm still learning. I saw some inspiration on Pinterest. Of course, there were just photos with no credits. There's lots of pictures on there with eggs that have plenty of molds added to them, and they are cool. So this project for me was a win. I just love how these turned out. It was so much fun making these, and you guys know how much I don't like to use the clay. I do have the resin, and I'm going to start using that on some projects, but the clay needed to be on this one for that old, cracked, aged look. I will tell you, I have some new clay coming up that I'm going to try that's soft, and I cannot wait to try it with you all and see how it does. I just feel like the DAS clay or the IOD, for me, I have problems with my hands. It's hard to maneuver. So I wanted to try something a little softer that would still give the same hard, dry effect. We're going to try that again coming up hopefully soon in a video. All right, so you know what time it is. The photos are coming up. We have finished these eggs pretty much. I don't have a end video part, but here are the finished photos in this video. Here's our cute little bunny statue with him and his little basket of eggs. Let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. Here is our printed digital artwork in a Dollar Tree frame. Let's not forget about that cute little bunny holding his egg on a stand. I just love how he looks different now. Again, let me know in the comments. Did you like that little bunny? Here's our little piece of architect, and look at that little half bead that I put on the end of that, which finished it right off. Our nest turned out so cute, you all. I love it on that little stand. Here's our chunky little bunny that looks like weathered wood with a little bit of transfer on it. There is our plaque and our eggs, and they are sitting in those little gold cups. You'll get to see them coming up again. Don't they just look so dirty and aged? I don't know, I just love it. They're a little dirty looking, but I just love them. Let me know. I really want to know what you all think about these eggs. This is the first time I've done anything like this. And don't forget, these came from Dollar Tree. Here are the finished projects in the vignette together. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.